How's it going, Airsofters? I'm back again from another epic location, Drake's Island. Wow, what a place. The name suggests it's an island. It's half a kilometre off of a city called Plymouth in Devon. So you have to get a boat there, obviously, unless you do own your own helicopter company, maybe. So this is my video of how I got to play there, and it might help you if you think you want to play there in the future, because who doesn't want to play on an airsoft island, eh? So for some reason it popped up on my Facebook feed, and I thought, wow, I can go and play airsoft in the UK on an island. I think the only other airsoft island I know of is in Croatia, I believe it is. I think Novrich has featured it a few times. Even though it is a hell of a way for me to drive, I just couldn't pass it up. I thought this is too good to miss. I thought it was going to be one of these airsoft places that doesn't hang around for long. You know, you do get these special places every now and again where you might get a couple of games and that is it. So I thought, I've got to go here and play here. It's just it's going to be a unique opportunity. I booked it through the company organising the game's website. They're called Commando Force, and it was the second game that they were going to be running there. They've already ran one game there. I think they do own a woodland on the mainland somewhere. It was expensive, but for such a unique place, I couldn't resist. It was £45 for the skirmish day, and that wasn't all. You had to then pay £7.50 for your boat trip over there as well, because it was a separate company that organised the boat trip over there for you, and that was £7.50 for your return journey. So £52.50 later, and I'm booked. I travelled down on the Friday. It's such a long way for me that I didn't want to be driving for 7.5 hours on the game day. I wanted to travel down the day before, and I booked a hotel for the Friday night so I could drive down there on the Friday, and I was ready for the game on the Saturday. I then told my mates about it, and another 4 of them booked up. They didn't want to get a hotel the Friday night, so they drove down on the Saturday. Now, the ferry didn't leave for the island until 1 PM on the Saturday afternoon. It was a 6-hour game, so it started at 1 PM and finished at 7 PM. I parked at a place called the Elphinstone car park. If you do park at this car park, you have to pay for 24 hours because the next time down is 6 hours, and 6 hours is just not going to be long enough. So you had to pay 24 hours, which is another £8 for parking. You probably can find other places which may be cheaper, but this was nice and easy and not far away from the jetty. We grabbed all the kit and we walked to the location where we had to catch the boat from, and it was about a 5 or 10 minute walk from the car park to the jetty. And it was kind of weird. It was weird because there was lots of members of the public around. There was people sitting at cafes right next to where we were going to catch the boat. So make sure if you do go that you do make sure all your rifles and everything that may draw a bit of attention to you is covered up. So no rifles on show, no mags on show. Even try and hide your plate carriers and stuff like that. You don't want to be drawing attention to yourself. The car park didn't have that many spaces and was getting quite full up as well. So make sure you have plenty of time to get parked up and get your kit together and walk the 10 minutes or however long it's going to take to get you to the jetty to catch the boat, because that boat will be leaving at 1 PM whether you're on it or not, whether you've paid your money or not, it will go. So just make sure you've got yourself plenty of time. When we boarded the boat, it just reminded me of one of those party type boats. Like if you've ever been to Ibiza or Corfu or somewhere like that, you catch these party boats and you go and get wasted on them. They play loud music and you jump in the sea. Well, this just reminded me, this boat that we caught just reminded me of one of those boats. It had a bar, it had these massive speakers, and it was just all very surreal. The boat set off and it took us about 10 or 15 minutes to get to the island. The sea was lovely and calm. There was hardly a ripple on it, and I'm one that will get seasick in the bath. There was very little wind, awesome airsoft conditions, definitely. The boat pulled up to the island's jetty, and there was maybe a 40 or 50 metre walk to the built-up area where the safe zone was. The built-up area was not accessible. The safe zone was outside. There was no cover. I don't know what they do if it rains. If it would have rained when we were there, we would have just got wet, and all our kit would have got wet and would have been wet for several hours. So if it is forecast rain, take some stuff to cover your kit up, and take some stuff to cover you up as well. They did sell a few things in the safe zone, you know, like drinks and snacks, but that was about as far as it went. It was all very efficient. As soon as we arrived, we were told to get ready for the game. We then got chronoed, and we were into the game within about 30 minutes, I guess, and we were chronoed on the weight BBs that we were using. There was a guy with a couple of pistols in front of me, and both of his pistols failed the chrono. Definitely take spares. If all your stuff fails chrono, you'll have to sit there for 6 hours and do nothing while everyone else around you plays airsoft. First game was an attack the team on the hill game. It didn't really work. The defenders of the hill had 2 medic players. Once they died, they were out of the game, and all the other defenders had infinite lives. The attackers had infinite lives as well, but they just made no progress on pushing their way up to the hill. It was like a bit of a stalemate situation. There was only like 2 ways going up to the hill. There was the main path. There was hardly any cover on to get up there, and then the other way there was like a tunnel which went up. But the defenders could easily counter that by just defending the exit of the tunnel. So the game just didn't really work and flow. And I did actually think to myself, I hope it gets better than this. Hopefully the guys that run the games will realise that and maybe change things up for their next game there. We then had a 15-minute break, and then we went and played in the lower levels. The lower levels were epic. It just brightened my day up a little bit seeing the lower levels. A maze of underground tunnels, pitch black they were, and then there was a really cool curved area which was all overgrown and derelict, where they used to keep the cannons for defence. Down there we played a hostage game where the attacking team had to find a hostage hidden in the tunnel somewhere and extract them. And then we played a hunt game down there as well, so one team was attacking again. The defenders had 1 life and that was it. They could hide anywhere they wanted to in the lower levels, and you just had to hunt for them, take them out, and then it was game over for them. Even though we had access to a lot of areas, a lot of tunnels, there were still loads of places that were inaccessible. I did hear somebody say that Commando Force, who run the games there, are looking at opening up different areas with each game that plays there. They're doing a lot of work there to open places up and make them safe to play at. There seem to be spiral staircases, tunnels, entrances going down even further into the island that we didn't have any access to. It was a bit of a tease really, because you could just see so many other epic places that you wanted to go and explore in but couldn't because it was fenced off or gated off. The place has so much potential, and I really do hope they have it for a long time and make it into an awesome place. I was also a little bit gutted that I couldn't go down onto the beaches of the island as well. I really wanted to work my way up from the beaches up to the tunnels, etc. But there was no access whatsoever to the beaches on the island. Well, I say beaches, there wasn't really much of a beach anyway, but you couldn't get down to the seafront is what I mean anyway. Time on the island went so fast. It was such a shame. Before we knew it, the time was up and we were catching the ferry back. We finished playing at 6:40 p.m. and the ferry was at 7, so you had 20 minutes to get yourself packed up and ready to get on the boat. There was no messing. You had to pack up quick or you were staying on the island until the next ferry. I don't know, you probably weren't. Was Airsoft at Drake's Island worth the costs? I'm glad I've done it. It was definitely an experience for me. It wasn't the best Airsoft games that I've ever played, but it was definitely a unique location to play. Would I travel down to Drake's Island again? Well, maybe if I lived closer. 7.5 hours was far too far just to go just for a game there. But if I lived, say, within an hour and a half away, yeah, I'd definitely consider going back again. What I would suggest as well is you make a weekend out of it. So the Drake's Island games are on the Saturday. I would also look for somewhere down that way to play on the Sunday. There are a few fields that you can play at down there on Sundays. I opted for Holmes Test Mine. It was another 2 hours drive west, taking me 2 hours further away from home. But Holmes Test Mine, definitely worth the visit on the Sunday. And I'll probably do another video like this on Holmes Test Mine in a couple of weeks too. So make a weekend of it. Take your mates down there, have some beer, have some food, play some Airsoft, have fun. Thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see you in the next episode.